Hello, I'm Ben, and when I was a kid, people didn't receive lots of money just for bad things happening to them. Well, folks, this is it. This is the final installment of Looney Tunes Month. Okay, crying time over. Anyway, I'd just like to say that I had lots of fun doing this, and I'm glad you guys have enjoyed it. Now, to wrap this all up, I'm going to finish my list of my top 20 favorite Looney Tunes cartoons. So, get ready to be so whacked out with looniness that you'll be bouncing all over the walls, which will cause them to collapse, which will fall right on top of your doghouse, which will... Okay, let's just get to the video. Number 10, Henhouse Henry. Directed by Robert McKimson, this is my favorite Foghorn Leghorn cartoon. In this cartoon, Foggy is up to his usual habit of pulling pranks on the barnyard dog. Meanwhile, Henry Hawk is once again trying to catch Foggy, but Foggy tries to teach him to start from the ground up before he tries to catch Big Chicken. Mayhem ensues as Foggy tries to deal with both Henry and the dog. I love this cartoon because the Foghorn Leghorn cartoons are hilarious, and this one made me laugh the most. I love all the pranks Foggy pulls on the dog, and I love how Foggy tries to teach Henry. Plus, I love a moment at the end where Henry and the dog team up to outsmart Foggy. Robert McKimson was at his best when he was directing this cartoon, as his gags are right on. Bottom line, Henhouse Henry is a great cartoon that really needs a DVD release. I'm waiting, Warner Brothers. Number 9, A Ham in a Roll. Directed by Robert McKimson, this is quite possibly his most unique cartoon he's ever directed. Even more unique than the whole idea. In this cartoon, a cartoon dog is tired of being the victim of slapstick comedy in Warner Brothers cartoons, so he decides to become a Shakespearean actor. He finds a house in the middle of nowhere and he starts to act out scenes from Shakespeare's most famous plays. However, the goofy golfers live in the house that he's taken, so they try their best to get the actor out of their house. I love this cartoon because I myself am a fan of Shakespeare, so I love all the references this cartoon contains. The quotes from Shakespeare's plays work well with the gags that the gophers execute, and they don't fail at cracking me up. Also, the goofy gophers are at their most mischievous in this cartoon, as a lot of their tricks they pull are just plain crazy. Plus, the animation is great, like all of McKimson's earlier cartoons, and the dialogue by Sid Marcus is top-notch. Bottom line, this is a cartoon that I think deserves more attention than it gets. I can't think of any other Looney Tunes cartoon that has paid this much tribute to Shakespeare. Number 8, Porkies Preview. Directed by Tex Avery, this is one of the most artsy cartoons that he's made. In this cartoon, Porky Pig has made an animated short, and the animated short is having its grand premiere. Once the cartoon starts, that's when things really get good. I love this cartoon because of how it's made. Porky's cartoon is animated really badly, but how the animators made it is unbelievable. All the characters in Porky's cartoon are stick figures, but they're animated so well that you don't believe they're stick figures. It's so cool, I never get tired of looking at it. Plus, it's a Tex Avery cartoon. You know what you're getting just by hearing that. The gags are wacky and timed well, and the music is some of Carl Stalling's best. Plus, if the ending doesn't have you in stitches, you're not human. Bottom line, Porky's Preview is one unique cartoon that would be perfect centerpiece at an animation festival. Number 7, Deterring America. Another one directed by Tex Avery. This cartoon has his name written all over it. This cartoon is in documentary style as Robert C. Bruce takes us on a trip through America as we see some interesting and wacky things. During his stay at Warner's, Tex specialized in cartoons that were parodies of documentaries, and this one is my favorite out of the ones he's made. All the gags are hilarious and you don't see a lot of them coming. Even though this cartoon is over 8 minutes long, it really goes by quickly. In fact, when it's over, I feel myself wanting more. Of course, Tex made a lot more of these types of cartoons, and those don't disappoint either. Tex Avery was not a character person, which means he didn't like making cartoons that starred a character that everybody knows. Instead, he liked making cartoons that didn't have specific characters. Cartoons that he could just use random things to get gags out of, and this cartoon is a great example of that. So, Deterring America is a great cartoon by my favorite cartoon director of all time, Tex Avery. Although it's not as good as what Tex Avery would do at MGM, this cartoon is my favorite of Tex's Warner Brothers cartoons. I'm sorry if I didn't talk about this cartoon that much. It's just one of those cartoons that you have to see to believe. Number 6. Robin Hood Daffy. Directed by Chuck Jones, this is one of the best parodies that has ever been done in animation. In this cartoon, Daffy plays Robin Hood as he meets up with a friar who's looking to join up with Robin Hood. When Daffy says that he's the one the friar is looking for, the friar doesn't believe him and Daffy sets out to prove he's Robin Hood, and doesn't do a good job of it. I love this cartoon because of Daffy's character. No matter how many times he fails, he's not going to give up and he keeps going. It's hilarious watching him mess up, but it's also frustrating because you just want to eventually see him succeed. Plus, it's a Chuck Jones cartoon, so the timing of it is done so well that you laugh at one gag so much that you miss one, so you have to rewind to see the gag you missed. That causes you to laugh at that one, which causes you to miss the next one. You know where this is going. Plus, this cartoon is an excellent parody of Errol Flynn Robin Hood movie that everybody knew about at that time this cartoon was made. Although you might not be familiar with the movie, this cartoon is still great. So, Robin Hood Daffy is a great cartoon and proves that Daffy Duck is a funnier character than Bugs Bunny. Number 5. Stop, Look, and Hasten. Directed by Chuck Jones and stars Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. Wile E. is at it again as he tries several new ways to try to catch Roadrunner. It was hard for me to pick a favorite Roadrunner cartoon, seeing as how there is a handful of good ones and a handful of bad ones that weren't going to even come close to this list, but I had to go with Stop, Look, and Hasten. For starters, the animation is beautiful. I have a feeling that these cartoons were hard for the animators due to how fast-paced they are, and watching this cartoon makes me wonder how the heck they pulled a lot of this stuff off. There's this one moment where Wile E. Coyote eats some Acme leg vitamins that allow him to run so fast that flames appear on the road as he runs. This leads to a high-speed chase between the Roadrunner and the Coyote that is so awesome to watch that it's almost worth skipping the rest of the cartoon to see it. However, there's more to this cartoon than a chase that would make an action star feel jealous of. Of course, the Roadrunner cartoons are hilarious, and this is the one that made me laugh the most. Sometimes the gags come so quick that you laugh at the fact that they just come so quick. Then, there are the gags that take their time, but when they come, you are laughing because you had no idea when it was coming. So, Stop, Look, and Hasten is my favorite Roadrunner cartoon, and it just helps prove why these cartoons are seen as the masterpieces of animation that they are. Number 4. A Pest in the House. Directed by Chuck Jones, this has got to be one of Daffy Duck's best cartoons. In this cartoon, a tired man comes to a hotel and is looking for some time to sleep. However, the man says that any time that he's disturbed, he's going to punch the manager, played by Elmer Fudd, right in the nose. I'm confident that this man is going to get his sleep and that Elmer Fudd is not going to get beaten. However, Daffy Duck as a bellboy is going to make sure that we get to see some violent slapstick. I don't know how to put it, but this cartoon is trucking hilarious. I'm not kidding. This is not only one of the funniest Looney Tunes cartoons I've seen, but one of the funniest cartoons I've seen in general. This cartoon has 3 things going for it that make it funny. First, Daffy being an annoying bellboy gets you to start laughing. Next, the tired man being annoyed gets you laughing more. Finally, your laughter is capped off with a grand finale as Elmer is punched by the tired man. It's not just comedic gold, it's the comedic gold of comedic gold. Daffy is also great in this cartoon. He is not the crazy screwball, but he's not the selfish jerk either. He falls in between. He's just a pest who's trying to do good but is unaware that he's causing misery. It's a great characterization. Bottom line, A Pest in the House is a great cartoon. Calling it hilarious would actually be offensive to it. This is just one of those cartoons that every time I watch it, it only gets funnier and funnier. Number 3, The Dover Boys. Directed by Chuck Jones, this is a cartoon that almost got him fired from Termite Terrace. Anyway, this cartoon is about 3 college boys called the Dover Boys who are having a fun time with their girlfriend, Doris Standpipe, when she is suddenly kidnapped by the boys' arch rival, Dan Backslide. Hilarity ensues from here. I love everything about this cartoon. The animation is beautiful, the backgrounds are a treat to stare at, the characters are interesting. Then there are the gags. Holy crap, the gags. This cartoon was the first Chuck Jones cartoon to actually be funny, and he pulled no punches when it came to the humor in this cartoon. Every gag in this cartoon is hilarious. It's another one of those cartoons where you're going to be laughing every second. This cartoon has several reasons that it's in my top 10, but if I only could have one reason, it would be Dan Backslide. He makes this cartoon. He is so sneaky, so conniving, and so funny that he becomes your favorite character. Mel Blanc is doing some of his best work voicing him, and he makes this character great. Dan Backslide is the perfect comedic villain, and I'm sure he's a villain that all other comedic villains were inspired by. Bottom line, The Dover Boys is a masterpiece of Looney Tunes cartoons. It's a cartoon that's well loved by members of the animation field, but a lot of casual viewers don't like it because it doesn't have any characters they recognize in it. However, if you're a Looney Tunes fan, you owe it to yourself to see this cartoon. If you don't like it, I question your fandom. Number 2, The Great Piggy Bank Robbery. Directed by Bob Clampett, this has got to be the weirdest and craziest Looney Tunes cartoon ever made. In this one, Daffy gets a Dick Tracy comic in the mail and he reads through it. He then knocks himself out and dreams that he's Duck Tracy, and he is on the case of a bunch of piggy banks being stolen, which leads him into a gangster hideout. This is my favorite Bob Clampett cartoon, and for good reason. The plot is great, the gags are wacky, and the music is right on. However, there are more reasons I love this cartoon. First, I love the animation. The animation is all over the place. That is quite possibly the most lively animated Looney Tunes cartoon ever made. It's quick, slick, and knows no boundaries. Next, I love the climax of the short when Daffy meets up with the gangsters. The gangsters are some of the most creative looking characters I've ever seen in a cartoon. They're so good, I pause on every single one just to get a good look at them. Finally, I just love the fact that Bob Clampett was able to get all of this craziness just from a plot about stolen piggy banks. That's just incredible. Bottom line, The Great Piggy Bank Robbery is a cartoon that proves Looney Tunes can do film noir, and do it well. And number 1, you still with me? Good. Porky Pig's Feet. Directed by Frank Tashlin, this is the looniest Looney Tunes cartoon I've ever seen. In this one, Porky and Daffy want to leave a hotel, but they can't pay because Daffy spent all their money on gambling. The manager then does his best to keep Porky and Daffy from leaving, while Porky and Daffy try to make a run for it. I love this cartoon because of so many reasons that it deserves a whole video to itself due to how much I love it. For starters, there are cartoony gags all over the place, and every gag is guaranteed to get a laugh out of you. Next, the animation is amazingly done. It's Frank Tashlin, and he always wanted the best animation he could get from his animators. Next, Daffy is at his best in this cartoon. He isn't just a screwball in this one, he's a screwball's version of a screwball. Plus, the ending is the funniest ending I've ever seen in any cartoon, not just a Looney Tunes cartoon. However, the most important thing is this is a bona fide Looney Tunes cartoon. It's so incredibly loony and off the wall that I can't even describe it. All the gags are done with the best timing and the best execution. Every time I watch this cartoon, I always notice something I didn't notice before, and this cartoon keeps getting funnier and funnier every time I watch it. My words can only tell you so much about this cartoon. You need to see it for yourself. Bottom line, Porky Pig's Feet is my favorite Looney Tunes cartoon. It never fails to make me roll around with laughter, and it is, in my opinion, the cartoon you would find if you looked up Looney Tunes in the dictionary. There are my top 10 Looney Tunes cartoons. This concludes Looney Tunes Month, folks. Looney Tunes is just one of those things that you don't know how it came to be or why it came to be, but it came to be. It's made several generations fall in love with its characters and its cartoons and makes them laugh. It's the one animated series that, along with Disney cartoons, set the standard for cartoons to come in the future. Disney was popular for its cheerful characters, gentle gags, and magical storylines. However, Looney Tunes came as an alternative to that, with characters that were tough and in-your-face, violent gags, and storylines that we related to. Looney Tunes is a perfect example that thinking outside of the box leads to wonderful things. No cartoon, and I do mean no cartoon, will ever match or even come near the impact that Looney Tunes has had on pop culture. I'm Ben, and if I can say one last thing in this month, it's this. That's all, folks!